something roll over. Oh, I can't recall it, but we definitely apply that. I said, okay, let's just try this.
Okay.
Let's use this enterprise environmental factor.
Okay.
I came to realize that the enterprise and environmental factor, it's actually talking directly on this condition that when the market is not the market fluctuation is not actually growing in a particular destination, the need for a project manager is to look at it and then move it to the other destination. But, we definitely apply. My voice is returning back to me. Am I communicating?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, because I could listen to myself. It's echoing back
Sorry.
at me. So actually, this is the little I could say. And then from our own business plan, we came to realize that we made a lot of mistakes and at some areas. Then we need to recall back, reconvene, and then review some of the document, most especially on the OPS.
Okay.
Some of the equipment we use, we don't need them, and some that we are yet to purchase, we then change the orders because there is this lapping machine for shoes and for finishings. We actually realize that we don't need them, and actually the finishing, like the box we use for shoes. Earlier on, we are using just leather. We realized that if we make it in large quantity, the production costs will be minimal, and then we will have a large quantity, and the price for what we produce will actually reduce because of the higher quantity of our production. So with this, definitely it helped us. It helped us a lot. And the chairman of the company was like, "Where do you learn all this?" I said, "There is one program I am running online, and it's just free of charge." And I learned all these things. And when I came to study it again and again, you one says that just like that, we should read it while we are applying some of the field. We will revisit the materials, and then we will learn something. I think this thing is like indirectly talking to me that, okay, you go to this, and it's going to do this, and it's a daily phenomenon. Each day I open this, I must learn something new. So this is a very grateful, and a little I could say. There are enormous of them, and this is the only thing I could say. Thank you very much, and this is all I have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ladan. It's great to know that you've been able to learn something and you're applying it to your organization. We are really, really grateful about that, and for the fact that your CEO also took notice of the things you've learned. That means there was an impact from the learning. Thank you so much. All right, let's open to Abubakar Haman. Please, Mr. Abubakar Haman, if you can hear me, kindly unmute and let's hear from you, please. Mr. Abubakar Haman.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Bonito.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, for me, I think one of the most important learnings that I have so far been able to use, if I can use the English that way, during this pandemic, there's a project that we started during this, before the lockdown. Unfortunately, the lockdown disrupted the project. So when we have to move the implementation through to online, anything that we can do online, we've been able to do, but there are certain aspects that we just have to wait until the partial easing of lockdown when they start the interstate movement. So that because we also have a rule in place that no any contractor or consultant will be allowed on site. But because the project is very key and very critical for us, I have to, as a project manager directly responsible for this, now give an exception and order the consultant to come on site for a week to complete that portion of the project. So, which means based on the lockdown, the project is already off target. So we have to do a new schedule to reschedule the plan.
Okay.
Based on the present reality. So from at the end of the project, we just completed the project last Thursday, this Thursday.
Oh, that's
so
great.
one of the things that we don't normally do, which I'm starting to do now, is the compilation of the learnings from the implementation that we just went through.
That's
so
great.
We need to
That's
have
great.
that project log of whatever issues we have encountered and how we've been able to surmount those issues. So that's the first time for me to start compiling these issues. So that's one of the key learnings that I have learned from this course that I've been able to implement. There are other ones, but the opportunity has not yet presented itself for me to start using, but there are other things that I've learned that we intend to do going forward.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. So there had been project, you've begun to do project knowledge management, and that's great. Okay, so Mr. Chizo, please kindly unmute and let's hear from you, sir. Please, Mr. Chizo, if you can hear me.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You're welcome to class.
Good morning, sir.
You're welcome to class.
Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you very much. It's always a great moment here each time we connect to share ideas and to learn more about project management practice.
That's right.
For me, this has been a very exciting moment because over the years I had done project management at some levels, but I didn't deepen it like this. But this course has enabled me to deepen my understanding and application of project management knowledge. Our organization consults for a company and some communities. We were part of a negotiation program that produced an agreement, what we call a development partnership agreement. And inside the development partnership agreement, these communities are expected to develop some enterprise projects. And then unfortunately, fortunately, a budget was created, a very big budget, but the community is not prepared. There's no capacity for project management. So we were called in to assist. In fact, at the point where 3 years is gone and most of the contractors have, disappeared with the money. There's no project management plan. There is nothing. So with this class, we've been able to get back on the board, and we've been asked to design a community investment strategy for that program, a community investment strategy. And we are now at the verge of going to develop a business case for each project.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
And we've started the process. We have discussed with the leaders, and they're already seeing the value we are bringing to the process. In fact, we normally in the past, what they were doing was they would just release POs, purchase orders, and then ask the contractors to mobilize to the field. Without it, most of the contractors do not have project management knowledge. Even most of the engineers, the kind of thing they do will always show you that they don't have project management skills. So with this, the 4 meetings we have held with them, with the leaders, it's kind of serve as an opening, eye opener.
Yep.
They know that they've been doing this thing in a very wrong way. And they are open to new ideas, and they are also open to make the process work. One of the things I have also used in the knowledge I have gained here is to research deeply to the point where there is enterprise project management, which is applying project management skills to enterprise development. And this has been so good to me because I now understand that you cannot actually develop a project without going through the steps necessary to execute that project.
That's right.
And then to deliver it before you even begin to operationalize it. Because at the point, people thought that once you have built an enterprise, once you build the structure, that is the beginning and the end. No, that is just a project that is temporary. Maybe, you know, but the actual business that has to be done in that facility has to begin from the beginning. And this for me has been very exciting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chizo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I'm actually excited that people are learning and not just learning, but applying it. And that makes a whole lot of sense. I'm going to share an experience that happened last night. And I'm also going to share an experience that happened in this class, not in this particular diet, but in the project management class in the last diet. I'm going to share that experience or those two experiences. But before I go on to that, let me please have Mr. John Arua. Please, Mr. John, if you can hear me loud and clear, please, can you unmute and let's hear from you?
Good morning, sir,
Good
and
morning,
everyone
sir.
here.
You're welcome to class.
Okay, this project management has been a great one. I learned something. I'm a chemical lab analyst and also a controller in a cement plant.
That's
and
great,
something
yeah.
has been disturbing me. Especially, I'm somebody that have confidence of myself. And during production, I will try to do everything possible to make sure that I get the right result. And because of that, I don't like sending report or communicating to my boss, because the boss I have, that his own is to come. Immediately he come and he will ask you, how is the plan? You tell him that everything is running okay. You say, okay. But I discovered that anytime he's not around, the other people that will be our supervisor or that will take charge, so we come and be telling you to be sending results to them every hour. And to me, that thing, because I do feel that is disturbing. They are disturbing me. Some people will come and say, hey, what do you use? What do you have the sand? What tons of sand? What tons of limestone and other things?
Yeah.
So you will start explaining. And at times I will feel they are disturbing me. But during this project management, under the stakeholder management, I discovered that they are not disturbing me. It's their character, and I need to abide by it, and I abide it. It's working for me. So it's a great one. Thank you very much.
That's good. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. That's really awesome. I'm actually excited that we are learning this and we are applying it. Now, there could be some people here that feel like, this project management, I'm actually doing it for another opportunity. I'm not sure is applicable to my own area, especially those of us that are in the service industry who feel like project manager or project management is for those in engineering, those in construction, those that have technical works to do. No, project management is everywhere. And remember, I said I was going to share two experiences. Now, something happened yesterday. A particular company we helped to recruit, and we recruited someone who is currently in this diet. All right, he's currently in this diet. But irrespective of the number of years of experience and all professional certifications and workshop and conferences the person listed on his CV, and owing to the fact that, yes, he's also taking IPM course, we decided to give him the opportunity I personally had to find a way to reduce all the interview loopholes. And okay, just give him a trial. Let it be that you're giving him a trial. If he fails to deliver, then we can start looking for others. We did interview for about 7 to 10 people, but we decided it's okay. Let's give him that opportunity. Now, the CEO of the company was speaking with me yesterday, and the person started with such an anger, okay, like a display of anger, like this person is not equal to what his CV is saying. I listened to this young CEO for almost 2 hours on phone, and just trying to get the whole thing sorted out. Now, at the end of the day, there was something key to what I gathered. I gathered that some of us just keep acquiring certificates, keep acquiring knowledge, not for the purpose of application, but for the purpose of portfolio. And that is very, very wrong. We just keep acquiring. Let it be heard that, yes, I'm a chartered project manager. Let it be heard that, yes, I am a certified emotional intelligence expert. Yes, let it be heard that. But by application, our dispositions to operational requirements, operational procedures do not in any way show that we have those strategic capacities and capabilities to handle the standards or to handle the operations that our portfolio exemplifies, that we have the capacity to do so. So in essence, our learning should be learning to understand, to practice. Now, the CEO was like, in fact, when I just started over the call, it was like, I'm going to end this appointment today. And this person has not even worked up to a week in the company. Okay. And that was serious. And this was somebody that was like, I need this job, I need this job, I need this job. So you now have the job. What the company is now seeing is just portfolio without an advantage. Okay? Portfolio without an advantage. So that is one thing. Now, why discussing with the company? This is a service-based company. Why discussing with them? I started noticing some things. I don't know whether that CEO is in this class today, but the CEO registered for this class after we finished discussing on project management. She actually advised herself to register, and she did, and she had made her payment. Now, one thing I realized from the whole organization was that there was no project management practice in place. Yes, there were business operations in place, but they were not projectized. And for those of us in the service industry, listen to me now, especially those of us in the banking industry. Let's take, for instance, product development. Now, this company, they developed a product, and this person they employed is supposed to serve as part of the product development team. So they developed a product, gave this particular young or this new recruit to review the product and find out if the product was sellable and marketable. And the CEO said for 3 days, the young man came back to him and told him that the product was marketable. And he asked the young man, or she asked the young man rather, he said, so can you sell this product? And the young man couldn't give an answer. No, yes, no, no. If you said the product is sellable, can you sell it? And there was no response. And I took her attention back. I said, who developed the product? You did. That's right. Who bought the product in the first place? Nobody bought the product. How did you come about to know that this product is the best product? There was no expert judgment anywhere. There was no brainstorming anywhere. There was no involvement of the staff in the value proposition process. So how do you want them to sell a product that they were not part of in the development process. And somebody could ask, is that project management? Obviously, that is project management. Now, listen to me and listen to me very well. The first rule of sales and marketing as a marketer is that you must, first of all, be the first buyer of your product. Not buying it to encourage your business, but buying it because the value is real. Did you get what I just said now? And the only way to find out the best value in product development is to use projectized approaches. You include expert judgment, you include brainstorming sessions, you use creative thinking approaches, you include focus group approaches. All of this at the end of the day will help you come up with something new. Okay, and that is very, very important. Now, another thing I found out, listen to me very well now, in their operations as client management, under client management or customer management, I found out that they don't have a projectized client management approach. I found out that they don't have a projectized client management approach. So the question is, who is your customer? How did you know that this is your customer? How did you know that this person has the need that you've developed as a product? How did you know that this person has the capacity to buy your product? How did you know that the person that you are developing this product for or this service for is in the market that you're taking it to? How did you know that the person needs this product at this time? Now, these questions can only be answered through project management approaches. And what part of those approaches, like Mr. Chizo said, he said they've decided to develop business case for each of those project objectives. That's the same thing we are supposed to do with each of the products that we develop with respect to client management. There should be a justified business case. And that justified business case is not going to be a function of what you feel. It's a function of what the market really needs. And if you remember what we dealt with in initiation, we said we needed to do a feasibility study. And from the feasibility study, we should be able to develop terms of reference. Now, if you actually do a very thorough work on problem identification, which is the product development aspect, part of the product development aspect, and then you were able to develop good value proposition based on effective client analysis. Listen to me, based on effective client analysis, not based on your own interest or based on your own understanding. No, it is going to be based on effective. You have actually analyzed a client and you are able to say, okay, there is a group of people that will need this, and I'm going to sell this to them at a particular value. All right. Then to drive it further, to find out whether these people will really buy this product. Well, that's okay. Why don't you conduct a feasibility study? And there are very cheap ways of conducting feasibility studies today. You can use digital tools to do so. You can promote your feasibility study and get much more records. And that will tell you whether the perceived client you have analyzed will be able to buy or not. If you're using digital marketing approach to run your surveys, the effective client analysis you've brought out as a map or as the characteristics of the client will help you know how to structure your promoted ads to capture the kind of people you want to market to. And these things are simple things that will fix every day in organization. Now, let me tell you something. I asked the organization, I said, how much do people make as revenue? And he mentioned one amount of money. And I was like, you shouldn't be making this amount of money based on the industry you are. We should be talking of at least you did not make any money in a month. You should be making at least 100 to 200 million in a month. You did not make anything. You should be making based on the industry you are. Irrespective of whether it's service, irrespective of whether it's a product, it doesn't matter. But based on the industry you are, should be making. And by the time we begin to unravage some things, It was so obvious that project management was lacking. Yes, business was in operation, but the operations were not projectized. As such, targets were not met. As such, creativity was not enhanced. As such, innovation was distant from them. So if you go back to your own organization right now, the question is, how will you restructure your customer service to give you more results? If you go back to your business, just ask yourself the question, how will you apply project management to your production line? If you go back to your organization, how will you rearrange your human resources to give you better results? All of these can be projectized. And by projectizing them, they can give you better results. Now, let me give you some wonderful tips now that will tell you whether you're really applying or not. If you're still working in an organization that keep asking or that keep fighting with meeting target and not meeting target, then there could be it could be an indication that you're not really applying what you are learning. If you're in an organization where there is still team crisis, is an indication that you are not practicing what you're learning. If you are in an organization that things still keep dragging, and if we say anything now, you say, after all, you're not the MD. If the things you've learned, they are not visible enough for the MD to acknowledge that, yes, there is something about this person that is changing, then it means that you're not really applying what you're learning. If you still go to staff meeting, they still talk and talk and talk and talk. At the end of the day, you cannot make any contribution that will set everybody on their feet and their brain will unlock. Then there is an indication that you have not yet started practicing project management. And perhaps you just want a promotion. Perhaps you just want a certificate. Perhaps it's been a long time you attended a training. You just wanted to be part of one. In IIPM, we don't give certificate. We first of all give understanding. If you don't understand, certificate will be useless. And there is something about understanding. Understanding is you getting to a point of knowledge that you cannot keep quiet until you begin to do those things you've learned. That's understanding. Knowledge can still keep you on the levels of are you sure, are you not sure? But understanding brings you to the point of assurance. You're definite that you will do this. Understanding removes limitation from practice. Knowledge can still have its own limitation to practice, but understanding brings or takes away the limitations and grants you quick access to practice. So we must go back to our organizations. Look at all the operations that happen in your organization. Look at all the business units and begin to ask yourself the question, how can we recreate this organization in each of these departments? How can we re-innovate this department? How can we reinvent the people in these departments to give better results? Now, as part of the things we were discussing, I was discussing with the CEO last night. The CEO made mention of something to me. And in response, the staff answered the CEO in a way that wasn't pleasant. And I said to the CEO, I said, with all due respect, at this moment, you are still an entrepreneur. You are not yet a manager. And should I say, you're not yet in the management practice. There is a difference between entrepreneur and the business manager. They are two different people. Now, one thing about project management is that project management creates that blend, that difference between the entrepreneur and the business manager. The project manager is at the middle, bridging the gap between the two of them. And as a CEO, we must upgrade to having to understand how project management practices work. And as business managers, we also need to understand how project management practices work. Now, she said she asked her staff, he said, are you not supposed to give me a report on this? Is there anything wrong with that question? I would like to know from us. Is there anything wrong with that question? Are you not supposed to give me a report on this? Please, if you feel there is anything wrong with the question, put it in the chat room. If you think there is a way to have done it better, just put it in the chat room. Let's find out. Are you not supposed to give me a report on this? It wasn't an angry question. It wasn't a reiterative question. But do you think there is something wrong with that kind of approach? Do you think it was the best way? Do you think it could have been done better? Let me see your answer in the chat room. I will come back to this. So if you look at organization principally, everything can be projectized. Every single aspect of your business endeavor, of your career endeavor, can be projectized. Now, remember I said there is an experience that happened here in the last diet. And there was a company that sent about 14 of their staff, yes, to the last diet on project management. And after the class, they decided to hire additional 5 people from the class. So they got different CVs and all of that. And as of the time they were doing all their interviews and everything, they were definitely carrying us along. And they would tell us the stage they are, they've done this, they've done that, and they've done this and all of that. And we are following all through. Do you know, at the end of the day, with the number of people that had applied, they ended up getting at least 5 people. By the time they got to the final phase, you won't believe me that it was 2 people that they took. Now, in the 2 people, they gave them assignment. Now, remember, these people came to project management class. So they recruited them because they felt like they have capacity to do. And the CEO told me that he gave them an assignment to go and prepare a market survey using Microsoft Project. Just listen up. At the end of the day, out of the remaining 2, 1 was hired. The other one left. Now, why the CEO was carrying us along, he didn't tell those people that, yes, IPM is still part of this whole recruitment process. One of the people that was in that class just came back to me and said, sir, I need job in oil and gas. I need job in oil and gas. I asked him, I said, what happened to the other company that you applied to and they called you? He said, no, I can't work there. Why can't you work there? I need job in oil and gas. I said, yes, you definitely get job in oil and gas. You will I'm sure you will get in oil and gas. Now, why did the organization decide to go with 1? Is it that they only needed 1? No, they needed at least 5 persons. And you know the funny thing, these 5 persons, to tell you that the organization was serious, these 5 persons, they paid for they added them to their staff. So they already adopted them as part of their staff. So all through the training, they paid for their trainings, they paid for their certifications, they paid for their materials. And they did not ask these people to refund them. That's to tell you that they were a serious set of people. They weren't looking for who to waste his time or waste our time. But at the end of the day, somebody came to class and did not understand, and he did not ask, and he still went ahead, and he received a pre-project assignment, and he couldn't carry it out. And he didn't make any effort to relearn that which he was able to learn. And all he could come was to tell me he needed he needed opportunity in oil and gas. Don't you think I should leave my job now and start going to everywhere there is oil and gas and be looking for a job for him? I think that is the best thing IPM should be doing now. So in essence, all of these things we are learning, we must first of all understand it. We must first of all be able to practice it. Then let the certificate be a backup. Not that our learning is a backup to the certificate. No, let the certificate be a... There are some people right here that are well versed in experience of project management. But what the knowledge is doing now is to help them harmonize their experience and make it better. So in this case, the certificate is not the major driver. The knowledge that they are gathering has been able to help them harmonize the experiences they've gathered over the years. So if you look at such people, it's not certificate as their primary objective. Their primary objective is, let me understand the experiences I have and be able to apply this knowledge to strategizing with my experiences, making better benefits with my experiences, then adding more value with my experiences. Okay, so in all of these things, it is important that we first of all learn to apply. Then after which we now can stand to boast of our certificates. All right. Okay. So the next time you come for project management class, be open to learn something. And not just something for knowledge purpose or for knowledge sake. Be open to get an identified problem that you're going to use the project management experience, project management knowledge to fix. All right. Okay, so back to the question from Abubakar. I said, I need the report on this project by close of business tomorrow. Then Damilola said, nothing is wrong with that, sir, but most likely conversation must have been going on before that question. Okay. That is from Damilola. From Abraham, he said it would have been done better instead of asking, are you not supposed to give me a report on this? It would have been, I will need a report on this with a time frame using emotional intelligence. Okay. And from Mr. Timothy said, not the best way to ask. By asking, are you not supposed to give me a report on this? Sounds insultive and indirectly telling the person he or she is not thinking. Best way is to say, kindly provide a report for me on this at a particular period. Okay. Then Mr. Chiza said, reporting in every organizational operation must be part of the project management requirements through scheduling. All right. So I think nothing wrong with the question, but she would have told him the description of work ahead of time and the deliverables attached to it. Okay, so why we have two phases to the question. Nothing is wrong with the question. Something, it can be done better. Now, obviously, there is nothing wrong with the question. And obviously, it can be done better. So which one will you choose? To do it better or to keep it in a way that it won't give you a result? In project management, what we are looking at is result. And in project communication management, you know, we took our time to teach emotional intelligence. And maybe like some of us those days that we are in school, say you are an engineering student and they now went and took you to accounting. You are now doing accounting. You are now asking yourself, what concerns accounting and engineering? Some of us now understand what is the relationship between accounting and engineering. Okay, some of us now understand. And some of us those days, you left engineering faculty and you were doing humanities. Huh? You are doing philosophy. And the question in the general class those days, engineering students were always trouble. The question is, what are we doing here? Okay. What are we doing? What concerns us with the history of Nigeria? But today, I'm sure engineers understand why humanities was part of the curriculum. Some of us are still to understand the place of emotional intelligence in project communication. There is nothing wrong with the question, but that question is an offensive question that demands a defensive answer. Did you get my question? Do you get my point? It was an offensive question that demands a defensive answer. Okay, so are you not supposed to give me a report on this? The brain works by default, action and reaction. That's the nature of the brain. It takes a trained brain to be proactive and not to be defensive. A brain that has not been trained to be emotionally intelligent will always be defensive. Will always be defensive. So as a project manager, to avoid defensive communication, you should be able to apply emotional intelligence in your communication. Just like pointed out here by some people, instead of asking, are you not supposed to give me a report on this? You could actually turn the question upside down. Please, I need the feedback on this report by, or I would like you to please provide me a report on this by. It places the person on assignment mood rather than a defensive mood. Is somebody getting something here? And this is one of the reasons some of us managers don't get reports, we don't get answers, we don't get performance the way we want it, because our communication is demoralizing instead of motivating. There is nothing wrong with the communication, but emotionally, there is everything wrong with that communication. Grammatically, there is no error with the sentence. Communication-wise, there is something wrong with the sentence. So we should be able to apply project management in everything and in anything. Okay, in everything and in anything. Now, do you know that that same kind of question that was asked, that's the kind of question that you ask in a home. A husband and a wife will fight for like 1 week before they reconcile. And if care is not taken, it will result to something beyond NSAS. Take, for instance, a man asks his wife, did they not teach you that when you finish cooking egusi soup, you should open the pot and allow it to cool so that it will not spoil? So did your mother not teach you? Oh, what do you think will be the response of that woman? Is there anything wrong with the question? No. But communication-wise, is there something wrong with it? Obviously. Obviously. So we must pay attention to what? We must pay attention to applying all of these things we are learning in practice. It will improve our performance. It will create better team management. It will create a well-motivated workforce. It will allow us peace of mind. It will allow us peace of what? Peace of mind. All right. So these are some of the things I point out this morning, so that we don't just go ahead reading, grouping, paying. At the end of the day, there is nothing to show for it. I will really appreciate if you learn without payment rather than paying without learning. Did you get what I just said? We in IPM, we appreciate you learn, you practice without payment than to pay without learning. It doesn't make any benefit to us. The certificate you carry will carry our name. The day it comes to you, it will spoil the reputation of the organization and anybody associated with that organization. So better off is good. That's why most of our trainings we give you as a just learn. Just learn. It's not compulsory that you must have the certificate. Just learn. By the time you learn and you really understood what you learned, you can be motivated to go and start searching for a certificate. So that's very, very important. Okay, that's very, very important. All right. Okay. I still have one hand up. Please, I will take only this one hand, and then we should be calling it a day for this morning session. This morning session is just to get us to go back to the drawing board and begin to ask ourselves questions on the things we've learned, and then begin to learn how to appreciate and apply them. Okay. All right. Okay. So please, Mr. or Miss Godwin, please kindly unmute and let's hear from you. If you can hear me, kindly unmute and let's hear from you. If you can make it 30 seconds or less, I will appreciate that.
Oh, okay. Good morning to you all.
Good morning, sir.
And an effective learning through this institute. Actually, you already said what I wanted to say, based on the fact that we had a project in Elmina in Cape Coast in Ghana, and the project normally stalled 2, 3, 4 months before we go back to site and all that. But through this effective learning from your institute, I've been able to have some knowledge on emotional intelligence and EEFs and OPAs to solve that particular problem. So right now we are moving on without any break in our project. So I really appreciate your impacting of your knowledge. Thank you all for the good work. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Godwin. We really appreciate that. And for all of these learning experiences, we are really grateful to everyone that your time you've put in is not going to be a waste at the end of the day. And that is a whole lot to us. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be sharing the attendance. It's almost 8:40. And we'll go and prepare for the afternoon session. When we come in the afternoon session, before I go, I'm going to take like 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then I would like to understand if there are areas in the software. If you have not been able to install it, please use the project management guide revised. In fact, it will teach you everything about the software. Okay, it will teach you everything about the software. Okay, then it will guide you on how to install it. Now, one of the reasons we decided to use MS Project 2007 instead of using 2016 or 2019 or 2010 is because the MS Project 27 is easy to teach, is easy to understand. It has a wizard that can help you go through it. Now, if you understand how the wizard works, it's easy for you to use it on 2010 or use it on later versions. Okay, so why we always encourage 2007 for new learning is because the wizard will easily help you to learn the software. It's easier to learn with the wizard. Then after that, you can begin to integrate whatsoever thing you've learned to the newer versions, maybe 2010 or 2016, as the case may be, or 2019. Okay. All right. Now, everything we've been learning, like Engineer Abraham Thompson said in one of his classes, he said most of the things we are learning will be clearer in the practical sessions, and I sincerely agree with him. And you will find out that project management is not as difficult as we might be thinking. It's just as easy as the way we do, what they call it, we do Microsoft Word, Excel, and the likes. Okay, so it's not in any way difficult. Please, I've posted the attendance. If you need to draw the attendance, please go ahead. And please ensure to fill out exactly how much you've paid till date. Some people made payment within the week, some added to what they've paid earlier. Please ensure you update accordingly. All right, ensure you update accordingly. And if you have not been grouped, please also identify that in the remark section. Apart from the payment made, please also identify that in the remark sections. All right. Okay, so quickly, I just have 4 minutes and I'm going to explain a little of this. I know some of us have been working with project management guide for a while. So some of us might also bring their own experiences on project management, this particular software. You can bring your own experiences. How do you, if you already use it in your organization, how do you use it in your organization and where do you use it? So in the practical sessions, you will bring your own knowledge. If there are areas that you also find difficult using, we can go ahead and explain some of those areas. Like in the last diet, a company, one of the company CEOs that was in attendance, he said it's an engineering company. He said that the challenge he has is the challenge of costing, using the project management guide, using the project management professional, to cost the budgeting of their projects. Okay, and another person was like, he needed to know how to use the project management MS project to monitor and control projects. Another person was, how do I use it to identify and manage risk? So there are people with different questions. Yes, they have the software. Yes, they know how to use the software to understand, but they had their own limitations. We, from our own end, we are not saying we know all of it. Okay, and that's why we say in the practical session, we will all, for those of us that are already using it in our organizations, how do you use it? Could there be a difference between what we are teaching and what you do in your organization? And then we'll find the point of intersection and make sure that we have it right. So on my screen is the MS project guide, a template. So the MS project guide is just, or MS project rather, is just a database software that we use for managing projects. So from initiation down to closure, we can use the project management. Software. That's the MS project software. There are also other software that are used for project management. Some of them are well known, some are not that well known. Okay, so we have the Primavera, we have that's the Oracle Primavera. Then we have the project manager. On their website, they also have versions, online versions for project. Then I think there are other websites also that provide cloud computing for project management. So we can all find them out. Okay, but one of the reasons I love project management, Microsoft, is that it's easy to use. There are no complications. You can easily review and work with. Okay, and you don't need, for 2007, you don't need any internet connection to do anything. You can work completely offline and you can then reintegrate it online. Okay, so I think Microsoft for now, for me personally, I'm not saying that's the best, but for me personally, I appreciate Microsoft. Okay. Okay. So this is a typical standard of what we are going to be dealing with. So all of the things we talked about, scope management, we are going to do that under this place. We have the task name, scope management. Then all of the things we dealt with on schedule management, we are going to have it from this blue region to the resource region. So schedule is going to be covering from activity descriptions and activity identification down to estimating resources. And then all those start to finish, finish to start, and then all those predecessors, precedence diagram. We're going to use this area here, if you can see the areas I'm pointing. So you have the task, you have the duration, you have the start, finish, then you have the predecessors, then you have the resources. Now on this other area, this is the Gantt area. So the Gantt chart and all other graphical information will be represented in this area. So there is a calendar there and there are lines to differentiate all of the things that will be done. Now, like I said, this is just a DB-based software, okay, database software. So it integrates several things together. So if you remember, project management is made up of 10 knowledge areas, okay, 10 knowledge areas. Uh, 10 knowledge areas, all of them will be captured in this particular software. Now, in the 10 knowledge areas, the first one is integration. So basically, what this software does is integration, and it integrates the other 9 knowledge areas together. So if you go to places like View, you'll see different sheets. So you see your calendar for your schedule. You see your Gantt chart for graphical representation. Then you see your resource sheets for all of your resources that you're going to be using, human and non-human resources, and all of the costs you're going to be putting on them. Then if you look at this area called I, so if, assuming you double click on it, it opens to give you some level of information. I don't know whether you're seeing the pop-up. Let me, can you see the pop-up there? If you can see the pop-up, can you type? Okay, thank you. All right, so from the pop-up, it's easy to communicate things like percentage complete, start date and finish date, duration estimated, and all of that. It's also easy to now specify which of those tasks are the predecessors, and if there are lag to each of those tasks, you can also identify. So you can typically communicate everything about a particular task using the activity description region. Okay, and you can also describe the resource particular to that task. And if there are things you may have to consider in advance, maybe constraints and deadlines, you can then you can now put WBS codes, and then the kind of calendar you're using, if it is shift, if it is 24 hours, if it is standard, you can then put all of those things. Okay, and then if you want to consider the task as a major milestone, you can also identify that. That will be done in activity description. All right, then you have custom notes. If you want to say something about the particular task or about the project, if you want to give instructions or lay further emphasis on certain things, you can then do those things in this region. Okay. All right, and if you want to create custom fields, you are also permitted. You can do all of that. So in the practical, we will do all of that, and all of these things we are seeing here, we will use all of them to be able to get what we want. All right. So all of those enterprise environmental factors and everything, resource levelings, resource sharing, and all of that, part of risk management. Okay, we'll all understand all of that as we come back for this particular project. Now, we always want everyone or a good population of the class to have the software so that it will help. I'm not sure, maybe the probability of having 2 people in the same room might be 0 in this class. So everybody is in their own room or in their own houses or in their own locations. So we encourage everyone to get the software, install it, and then be ready for the practicals. As we launch through the practicals, we'll understand quite a number of things. Okay, so no, I'm just showing the interface. We've not started the software. All right, we've not started the software, but when we'll come back in the afternoon, we will start the software. Okay. Okay, so please, if you have any issue, go to your group. I'm sure there are people in your group who have installed the software. So ask them, how did they install it? You're not the only person that is having the issue. So there could be someone in your group who has completed their installation. So go back to your group chat and ask, how did you install? For those of us that are using Apple products, please, for now, you may need to get a system. You may need to get a Windows system just for the purpose of the class, after which you can send it back to the owner. Okay, just for the purpose of learning. And or within the break, if you can get what they call it, if you can get if you can find the free version online for your MacBook, I think that also will help. Okay, that also will help. All right. So is there anyone here who has not taken attendance? Is there anyone who has not taken attendance? Please, if you've not taken attendance, kindly do so. We've posted the attendance several times. Okay. Okay, so we'll be meeting in the afternoon section for continuation of the practical. And please, each group should be ready to learn the practical as a group. So even if we finish from the main class, you go back to your group, schedule your own learning time and learn. Okay, schedule your own learning time and learn the software. Okay. All right. So from us here, we would like to say thank you this morning. We'll meet in the afternoon. The time is still as displayed on the timetable. So please kindly check out your timetable and prepare for that. Thank you so much and see you in the afternoon. Thank you.